Having a great tasting drink is fun, but unless you're a mixologist, actually making the drink isn't always so fun. It's also not very efficient if you're hosting a party and all of your guests have different cocktail preferences. That's why something like the Bartesian has had success. Bartesian is basically a robot cocktail machine. In fact, some people have called it the Keruig of cocktail machines since it uses a pod-based system to dispense alcoholic beverages. But now here we have the new Bartesian Duet, and I'm actually one of the first people to get my hands on it. Let's take a closer look, but quick disclaimer that I and everyone in the studio is of legal drinking age, and we encourage everyone to drink responsibly. The Bartesian Duet is kind of like the Bartesian's younger sibling. The original Bartesian cost $370, while the Duet cost $280. At a glance, I'd summarize this as half of the original Bartesian machine. It has half the alcohol canisters, so these 2 glass bottles here hold your spirits of choice. And the point of that is that some people only really stick to the same 1 or 2 kinds of alcohols for their cocktails, so you don't need 4 different wells active on a regular basis. This also has a more compact footprint than pretty much anything else that I've seen like this on the market. That makes it great for an apartment or smaller area. We can all agree that counter space is quite valuable, so the Duet is really unintimidating at this size. It shrinks from like a true appliance to more of a fun gadget. So when you think about holiday gifts or other reasons you might want to get this, I think it's more appealing than the larger machine. Otherwise, I've seen these pods before, having owned the original Bartesian. Bartesian sells dozens of different drink pods, ranging from the classics to some seasonal choices and variety packs. You can buy some of these pods on Amazon, directly through Bartesian with like an option for a discounted subscription membership, and also at Walmart where the Bartesian Duet is launching for retail and likely to see some big discounts for the holidays. But regularly the pods cost $20 per 8-pack. That breaks down to $2.50 per drink. But of course, that doesn't include the alcohol, which you yourself have to buy and put in these wells. I mentioned the wells. Again, I have vodka and tequila here, though if I wanted to change it up, I could empty these and replace them with rum, whiskey, or gin. Those are the 5 total spirit types Bartesian pods currently support. If I were to replace these, I would need to let the machine know which liquors are in here, because the way it makes drinks is with these barcodes on the pods. So like an espresso virtual machine, if you're familiar, the barcode gets scanned and indicates what kind of liquor the machine needs to pull in. Now, there's only one drink that the Bartesian won't work with for this reason, and that is the Long Island iced tea. That has a whopping 3 kinds of alcohol in there, so if that's one of your drinks of choice, maybe the Duet isn't right for you. Another little bit of a con is when you do swap out these containers and tell the machine, it dispenses out the leftover spirit in the tube that otherwise feeds into a drink. This is to clear it and not mess up the flavor of a cocktail, but you do lose out on a little bit of your alcohol if you're going to be changing these out often. That said, if you're going to stick to your 2 preferred spirits most of the time, then it's not really a concern. The final well, so to speak, is this water container back here. One of my biggest complaints with the original Bartesian is that the well's material made water go stale after a few hours, and it could get really gross if I forgot to empty it. And that's what happened quite a lot. But what's a great upgrade here is that the well looks more like the material of a Keruig coffee maker with a complete seal around it, so the water should be able to last longer in this well without going stale or tasting funky. Speaking of taste, let's try making a drink. So up here you have the control dial and you load in your pod this way, and the dial will first confirm that everything looks good, including the pod insertion and water level. It'll recommend which glass to use, but that's just a suggestion. Then you'll pick how strong you want your drink. That's the ratio of water to dilution of the alcohol. It's totally up to you. There is even a mocktail option. A lot of people don't drink alcohol, so even if you're hosting them and everyone is whipping up their own drinks, that person can still be included and try out some of the great mixers. Now let's make a margarita. What can I say? There's nothing I love more than a good margarita. What I would do personally for making a margarita is salt the rim. It's pretty quick to do, and I got this gadget at the thrift store and I keep it on my bar cart at home. So I'm putting my glass here and I'm going to put the margarita container in this way, and you see the lid closes smoothly. I don't feel like I have to break it or force it to puncture the pod. You know from the other model, You might need to put your glass underneath to make sure that none of the mixer does drip out. That's something that's in my experience at least. And I'm selecting my strength. I'm gonna go with a mocktail on this one because it is a little early. And just like that, I have a beautiful margarita up. But at Tom's Guide, we have manners. So here, you have this one first, and I'll just make another. So we've had our happy hour. Let's recap the Bartesian Duet. It's $280. It has 2 wells for alcohol and comes in this convenient size. It's easy to use, and with Bartesian's pods, you can make great drinks. Maybe not with the craftsmanship that you'll get from like a nice cocktail bar, but the little embellishments I mentioned, like a salt rim or garnishes, do go a long way. The downside is that it can only hold 2 spirits at once, so there's not as much flexibility as with the original Bartesian, and some of the pods aren't compatible. And you do lose a little bit of liquor when you swap them out. Still, I think this is an amazing holiday gift for someone who likes gadgets or is a little techie, especially if they love to host or if they have some signature favorite cocktails. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely a little unnecessary and not the most affordable device, but I know I'm gonna keep an eye on it going on sale for my gift lists because it's a lot of fun and maybe not something that someone would typically get for themselves. What do you think? Could you see yourself using the Bartesian Duet as your bartender? Be sure to let me know. Also hit us up on social media, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Tom's Guide. We're always showing off fun new gadgets. I'm online at Kate Kosich as well. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Cheers to that.